Okay, you already know who it is. It's Father Moo on the microphone. That's right. Well, it's a lovely Sunday morning. I can see the congregation is all here. Really appreciate you all turning out. Don't forget to put some money in the collection plate when it goes around. Appreciate it. Thank you. Listening to a little patch here called Not Associated. Some old generative patch I made before. But I'm not here just for this patch today. I'm here to reclaim what's left of my reputation in tatters after I was unable to solve a children-level logic problem in the last stream. What I can tell you is that I have achieved a child mind, and I don't mean like I keep one in a jar. I mean like my mind has reached that level. And yes, I've solved the logic problem, which I'm here to redeem myself and plug that little logic circuit into the patch we created last time, therefore creating a somewhat new patch. Sometimes you just need time to sit and think, and when the mic is on in the stream and there's dead air, it makes it harder for me to collect my thought sickles. And what matters is you get there in the end. What I love about modular synthesis is that you take the problems home with you. It's like Tetris. If you play enough of it, when you go to bed at night and close your eyes, you can play a little more Tetris for free in your head. And same thing with modular synths. You can build and solve these little problems whenever you get there. So I'm here. Let's get there. We'll get to the other patch in a second. I'm just going to build it from scratch on a blank screen and talk you through it. So here's what it is. Random pulse generator, number 1. And random pulse generator, number 2. Each of these also needs a logic circuit called inverter. And we also need 4 logic processors. And those logic processors are set to AND. So what I want to come out of these 4 outputs is 4 different states. I think that's a 4-bit word in computing parlance. So here's how I'm going to make those. First of all, I'm going to connect each random pulse gen to his own dedicated inverter. So as you can see, the first pulse gen has 2 states. He's either on or he's off. Let's turn down their density so they switch between states a little more slowly. So when the light is on, this one is on, and when this one's light is on, this one is on, and it transmits a positive signal, which probably looks like this. And when the light is off, it transmits a negative signal, which looks like that, maybe. So basically when when the green light is on, he's saying yes. And so if I also want to create the opposite of that, the no, I want to use the inverter so that anytime the green light is on up here, it's off down here, and vice versa. And the exact same thing happens over here. So let's wire these into the logic processors. What I have is 2 generators generating 2 states. What I want is 4 different states, not just a yes or no, but I want to have you could call it a yes, yes, and a no, no, and a yes, 1, no, 2, and a no, 1, yes, 2, if you want to call it that. Those are the 4 states I want to generate. So I connect the first random to here, and I connect his output to there. We will never connect this output the positive and the negative to the same AND processor because it would be meaningless. They would cancel each other out. This one goes to the third input, and this one goes into the fourth input. So first let's make yes, yes. Whenever this guy is positive and this guy is positive, we will have a positive output here. So we send the second guy's positive signal here. And means if both lights are green, I'm going to send a signal. That's why I call this one yes, yes. And now I'm going to make no, no. This one is saying no, no signal, and he goes in here. And this one is saying no, we also no signal, so he goes in there. And then and means when both these guys agree on no, I will send a signal out here of no. And as I said, this one is going to be yes. Okay, technically this is probably yes 2, no 1. So I connect that to this guy's no and this guy's yes. And this one is no 1 and yes 2, probably. And I connect this to here. So now these 4 output states will be, each one is only going to be true at one time, I think, anyway. I'm not sure if 2 of them can be true at the same time. But I guess we'll find out, like with so many things. The point I was trying to make was, yesterday I used, where is it? It's in Mixer, isn't it? I used a 4-to-1 switch. So I sent a signal into it, and then I could send that signal out to one of 4 outputs. Well, now I have 4 outputs that are randomly generated instead of like this here, 1, 2, 3, 4, this selection cannot be automated. I can't send an LFO to it to do that job. But what I've done here with the random pulse generators is generated it instead of using a knob to do it. So I'm going to just, I don't want to rename, I want to copy. Let's just Control C. And now let's load up the patch we made before, which is called Good Switch. Well, there's Bad Computer, but forget about him for now. Here's our boy. So let's just delete this switch from here. And this was the constant value that fed the switch. And this was a series of circuits that we had as a sort of workaround that the switch allowed one of the 4 clocks to pass through. Oh, we'll still need this. We'll still need this. So let me paste in what I made. Yep. He kind of pushed those guys out of the way there, but that's okay. Let me just fix that. Put all my logic processors here. And I must have moved down some of the dudes, so I'll let them move back up to their original home. There you go, dudes. Okay. So as I said, these 4 random states now become the partners to the clocks. So what you heard there was a brief burst of what must have been a yes signal from the logic blocks, and also the yes from the clock. The clock is just ticking when it's ticking. And let's do... Okay, number 2 is going. Let's see if they will be mutually exclusive. The 1 is going again. Have we seen these guys go yet? Oh, there we go. This 3 is going. Back to 1. should reduce that density a bit. Let's see if we get number 4 actually moving. Where are you, buddy? There's 3 again. 2. When is 4 going to get his time to shine? There he goes. I saw him move. 4 is very, very slow. Okay, great. So, not to brag too hard or nothing here, but this is what we wanted to happen. The 4 different generative states here, only one of those conditions is satisfied at any one time, so they are mutually exclusive. And so by sending those 4 outs to these 4 AND inputs, we allow the clocks to pass through only when the state of yes, yes, or no, no, or whatever we determined is valid. So the other thing I'm going to pat myself on the back for is let's just look at how much clocking we've built here. These 2 entire columns, plus also these logic processors here, are all clocking data. In fact, if we get rid of red, this is all the yellow cables, is all logic data. I guess what these guys are doing is really just adding up the information, but this is a little random computer over here that we've built. A very, very simple computer. Probably what you learn on day 1 of computing school, but still something. And we've got our little voice here playing his part. So we did finally get there. It's simple. It's simpler than... Well, I'm not going to say it was simpler than I thought. It's about exactly as simple as it should be. And what you might also be minorly impressed with here is we're still using AND as the logic processing of choice. We're using OR over here in a not very computational way, more as just a signal mixer, really, or signal combiner. But I want to investigate this more. I want to learn and think about how these random states are generated and why. And I want to delve into XOR, exclusive OR, which I think means when one is on and the other one is off, then a signal passes through. I'm sure it has its place in computing, and I'm sure I don't know what that is, but I'm also sure I can figure it out eventually. There's the other cables back in again. So don't give up on your dreams. Stay in school. Winners don't play video games, and all the other catchphrases that you heard your whole life, they're all right. So, stick to it. If you get your logic circuits all twisted up as I did, just sit down. I actually took a pencil and paper and mapped it out. I tried to put that up as the what do you call it, the thumbnail in YouTube for the previous video, but it's too impossible to read my terrible writing. So here it is for yourself to look at. These 8 little modules is all we needed. And I'll also close by saying, if you have a VCV rack, if you have some other modular system, don't beat yourself up if your system doesn't look exactly like this. For example, Eurorack modules in the modern world, they usually don't just have a random pulse generator and just a logic inverter. They may combine 2 or 3 of these functions and maybe some logic in the same circuit or in a couple circuits in the same module. That's sort of up to you to figure out what pieces you got and how you're going to put them together. If you get 2 different things from 2 different manufacturers, you might get different voltages for yes and no, so you might want to look at that closely. But my point is that logic is logic. Any square wave is a 1 and 0 binary proposition, and some of the most fun programming I've ever done has been programming the modular and figuring out logic stuff like this. My goal is usually to generate random melodies and stuff. It doesn't have to just be that. There's so much more you can do with it. We saw in one of my streams before where a guy built the game of life, which is like a thought experiment with logic and thinking about life forms in different populations and how they reproduce and how they grow and they die off as circumstances dictate. That was all built with the very simple building blocks that we got over here on the left. So, if you're building a modular, think about adding a couple of logic circuits to it. They may look inscrutable in the beginning, but eventually, like me, you'll figure out what role they can play. Nonlinear circuits does some interesting logic processing stuff, but they're far from the only one. There's many, many good ones out there. So, Doepfer, of course. Doepfer will actually give you a lot of the simpler bits like this, but that's kind of like the mental approach to modular of 15 years ago, not now. Now people are building these bigger, more complex modules. I think if you look at something like marbles or even maths, those are also built with some of the logic processing things in mind. Like I bet you maths has a logic inverter somewhere. I don't own it, but I'm guessing. That's why they call it maths, right? Quick maths. So, I'm in 2 hours, I'm flying out of here on to my next vacation. Not even my last vacation of the year. And it's all possible thanks to donors like you who donate to the Father Moo Vacation Fund. So let's call this 77. Before I was going to call him Bad Computer, so now I'm going to call this one Good Computer. Even though I don't know if it'll fit or not, but that's never held me back before. Save it in the synth. And I don't know exactly when the next stream will be uploaded because I'm on vacation for 4 or 5 days, depending on which time zone you're in. But I hope to be back soon and back to uploading as well. As soon as I get back into the office, I'll try to record another stream for y'all. So much love to all my fans, all the commenters. We still keep seeing new subscribers joining slowly, but every time I see that little number go up by one, I'm happy, and I'm glad people are still watching these streams. And as I always say, feel free to leave a comment if you have a question or anything like that, or just some feedback. I'd like to hear it. If you want to make fun of me and my inability to understand logic, then that's also fine too. So anyway, it's been real. Thank you all so much. It's a big church. We got room for everybody. And we'll see you next time on the Father Moo Show.